Let me turn next to Isabella Burrows, who is an associate lead at PetSmart store in Michigan. And she's a member of United for Respect. And this BC Partners ownership has taken at least 23 billion in cash and stock dividends for PetSmart. And let me just comment as we move into closing out all these stories, how much we see that private equity is part of everyday life. It's everywhere. It's healthcare, it's retail, it's grocery stores, it's manufacturing, it's pets. Every part of our daily life is being touched now by these investors that are just greedy to take money out of Main Street companies. And this is why it's so important that the people here and others are testifying, and we will continue to do so to right this wrong. It is what is destroying America. It's not, by the way, globalization. You know, as Huffcore, it lasted for 120 years, and globalization has been going around for 30 years, and they did not outsource or close and go to Mexico. So it is not globalization. It is financialization. It is financiers on Wall Street. And so let me turn it over now to Isabella to add on to this. Thank you.
My name is Isabella Burrows. I am 19 years old and I work at PetSmart in Howell, Michigan. I graduated high school this May and I live with my parents, my younger sister, and 8 pets. I started working at PetSmart in late September of last year, making $10.50 an hour as a cashier. I love to paint, walk with my dogs, and cuddle with my cats. At PetSmart, I love working with animals and helping pet parents find solutions for their pets. Unfortunately, BC Partners, the private equity firm that owns PetSmart, has not shown the same concern for PetSmart employees or the animals in our care. Time and time again, they have prioritized cutting costs wherever possible, and we are paying the price. When the pandemic started, BC Partners cut positions and slashed hours despite the soaring demand for pet products. As a result, short staffing is a huge source of stress at my store to this day. We are all being wrung dry. Important tasks in the pet care department just aren't getting done because there aren't enough associates. For example, reptile habitats don't get cleaned regularly, and the water in our fish tanks isn't changed as often as it should be. BC Partners treats their employees as disposable and does not value our health and safety. I've seen coworkers get overheated when our AC wasn't working to the point that they had difficulty breathing with their masks on. The store shouldn't be so hot that you have to take off your mask just to feel like you can breathe. On May 22nd, On May 22nd, my 12-year-old brother passed away unexpectedly from a health condition. My manager treated me with a complete lack of respect and empathy. She told me to get over it, and that while I was at work, my feelings didn't matter. It was traumatic, and I wasn't comfortable working there anymore, so I transferred to stores in mid-June. In August, I was promoted to a low-level manager position called Associate Lead with Keys, but I'm also still responsible for pet care and cashier tasks. I often feel overwhelmed and exhausted because I'm expected to work 3 to 4 jobs instead of 1. As a manager, I'm now making $14 an hour. This is still not enough to move out of my parents' house and live on my own, even though I am working full-time. Throughout the pandemic, my store hasn't enforced mask mandates or social distancing. If customers ignore the social distancing stickers, there's not much we can do, and I fear that if I say something, people will become aggressive. Once a man purposely got up very close to me and coughed on me just because I was wearing a mask. BC Partners has done next to nothing to support us as frontline workers during this public health crisis. Being an essential worker in the time of COVID is really hard. When my coworkers come into work with a cough, I feel scared for my family's safety. I fear bringing COVID home to my parents, especially since my mother is high risk. I've already had one loss this year. But many times my coworkers don't feel like they have a choice because it's very difficult for part-time associates to acquire paid time off. The least BC partners could do is provide for their essential workers with sufficient paid sick leave during this pandemic to protect us, our families, and our customers. My coworkers and I decided to take a stand and demand BC partners put pet care over profits and treat their associates with dignity and respect. We recently published a report highlighting how under BC partners, ownership, incidents of pet death and neglect have skyrocketed at PetSmart, while workers continue to struggle to provide quality pet care because of understaffing, stagnant wages, lack of supplies, and broken equipment. If you are an animal lover, a PetSmart shopper, or anybody who supports essential workers in retail, check out our new tool called the Private Equity Tracking System, or PETS for short, a cool app that allows you to track and document private equity abuses like the ones mentioned in our report, like understaffing and dirty stores that I also described for you today. I joined my coworkers in speaking out with United for Respect because PetSmart workers like me love our jobs and want to protect ourselves, our animals, and our customers. We should be treated fairly and listened to when we have concerns. For the last year, BC Partners has refused to sit down with us and discuss how we can resolve these issues in our stores across the country. We are coming together to alert the public to conditions at PetSmart and urging BC Partners to do this right thing. Listen to employees and put pet care over profit. United for Respect is also part of a coalition working to pass critical legislation to encourage private equity to do right by workers, investors, and communities. Please save the date for our upcoming town hall with Senator Warren, which will focus on the Stop Wall Street Looting Act, Thursday, October 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We must hold private equity firms accountable and prevent them from continuing to degenerate jobs like mine, putting essential workers at risk for the sake of profit. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you so much, Isabella, and thanks all of you for these compelling stories that across the board tell us the same thing. The absolute disregard for human life, for kindness, for generosity, for humanity. And we see that across the board